as we gather together in the name of the Divine Being. May the Divine Being come amongst us and give us wisdom and peace. So, good to see you all. Heidi, would you like to read Beautiful Creature?
That's me?
That's where we read it last week, but we didn't talk about it.
Okay, sure. You're asking me, right?
Yes, I am, dear.
Just making sure. Okay. Beautiful creature. There is a beautiful creature living in a hole you have dug. So at night, I set fruit and grains and little pots of wine and milk beside your soft earthen mounds. And I often sing to you. But still, my dear, you do not come out. I have fallen in love with someone who is hiding inside of you. We should talk about this problem, otherwise I will never leave you alone.
Would you like to read it again, please?
Yeah. Beautiful creature. There is a beautiful creature living in a hole you have dug. So at night, I set fruit and grains and little pots of wine and milk beside your soft earthen mounds. And I often sing to you, but still, my dear, you do not come out. I have fallen in love with someone who is hiding inside of you. We should talk about this problem, otherwise I will never leave you alone.
Why does that make you laugh, Heidi?
Well, just the way just how he writes,
Yes.
It's just, I'm getting to know his style better the more I read it, and and it's just comical,
Yes, he's very lighthearted and loving. Yeah, very lighthearted. Otherwise, I'll never leave you alone.
Right.
You
We
know,
gotta we gotta address this problem, man. It's
so come on out of there. That's what we do. We dig a hole for ourselves to be self-protective. And as Christ said, those who would save their lives shall lose it. And those who would lose their lives for my sake, they shall not, they shall have everlasting life. And so we dig these holes for ourselves, and we line those holes with the images of everything that keeps us in there, fear, doubt, shame, that I like this, I dislike that. We line our holes with all those, with images of all that, and so it keeps us in there. And there isn't even a proper clean mirror there for us to see ourselves in, to know that we are that beautiful creature that he's talking about. I just love what he says. So at night I set fruit and grains and little pots of wine and milk beside your soft earthen mounds. And I often sing to you, but still, my dear, you do not come out. And then his declaration, I have fallen in love with that beautiful being. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's all about love. Anyone else have anything to say about this
It's
remarkable poem?
it is very playful and loving too at the same time, Brother Shankara. Very playful and very nice. At first, I thought he was referring to his the girl he loved on the balcony when he was passing through. The beautiful.
I don't think so. No, I think this.
Now, second time when she read it, then it thought, no, he's not referring to that girl. He's referring to the one that, like you said, it's what we hide so many times in our life. So that's exactly. Thank you so much for that purport you gave us. That was really nice purport.
Thank you, Harma.
Uh-huh.
Anyone else have anything to say about this? What does it stir in you? What do you relate to about hiding in a hole and whether you come out or not, and whether you will continue to feel Hafiz's presence?
I've known this poem for a long time because I actually have Ladinsky's book of Hafiz, which I have had for a long time. I had it long before I had this book. And I can't, I'm trying to think of a way to say why I feel this way, but to me, there's something sad about it too.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I mean, I love that he is being playful, trying to coax out the beautiful creature that's hidden, but there's a sadness about it. He's saying, I have fallen in love with this beautiful creature that's hiding inside of you. It's like I'm able to see the beautiful creature and you're not. And that's sad, but it's loving. There's a lot of stuff going on, but I can't not let it go by without saying that it's always a little sad to me too.
Yes. A wistful sadness that just says, we could we could dance together so nicely if you would come out.
But I don't think this is romantic love at all.
I agree, dear.
It's someone, you're loving someone with all your heart, but that someone isn't able at the time to have a relationship.
Exactly. And notice what he says he does. This is where I think Sharda is right. There is this sadness and
Yes.
wistfulness. But so at night I set fruit and grains and little pots of wine and milk beside your soft earthen mounds. And I often sing to you, but still, my dear, you do not come out. And so I agree with you entirely, June. This is not romantic love. This is the love of one human being for another.
Yes.
So badly wants to see that other person fulfill themselves and be in relationship with something greater than they're willing to be a part of.
I'm going to send that to my grandson.
Good.
Brother Shankara,
Yes, dear.
when I read it, what comes at me is the someone who is hiding inside of you is the divinity,
Mhm.
and it says there is a beautiful creature living in the hole you have dug. The way I interpret that is we are so involved in the world that we have pushed the divine into a hole,
I think you're very right.
and he's setting all this to get that out.
And, and he's using every enticement that he knows. And I think June has said it so well that this is someone that there is real love for, but it's a spiritual, it's a higher love. It's a powerful poem. We should talk about this problem. Otherwise, I will never leave you alone.
Mhm.
That's a promise as well as a kind of, you know, a kind of a threat. I will never leave you alone.
And as I'm hearing everybody, you know, comment about the poem, I'm thinking like, you know, like a really good friend um, who brings out the best in you,
Mm-hmm.
and they just try to, you know, support you when you're down, or celebrate when things are going good. And this last stanza, I kind of interpret like that. You know, I'm hanging around. I'm gonna, you know, keep knocking at that door, and we're gonna keep talking about this problem. I'm not
Mhm.
going away, you know, because I see in you what you can't.
Very well said, Heidi. Very well said. Exactly. Because our friendship is, it's like the great Saint Yajnavalkya said, it's not for the sake of the personality that one loves another person. It's for the sake of that divinity within. And so the personality may be good, maybe today it'll be good, and today and the next day it'll be sad. And so if we understand that what we're loving is that changeless divine being, then what comes and goes in the personality is not, um, it isn't as if it's not relevant. We care and want to set out those little pots of, of wine and fruit and grain and so on, you know, sustenance, but it's something deeper. Thank you, Heidi. Anything else from anyone? Okay. With that moon language, who'd like to read this one? Bart, have you got the book open there?
I do, yes. I'll read it. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste, namaste.
With that moon language, admit something. Everyone you see, you say to them, love me. Of course, you do not do this out loud. Otherwise, someone would call the cops. Still, though, think about this great pull in us to connect. Why not become the one who lives with a full moon in each eye that is always saying, with that sweet moon language, what every other eye in the world is dying to hear?
Oh, read it again, please.
Mm. With that moon language, admit something. Everyone you see, you say to them, love me. Of course, you do not do this out loud, otherwise, someone would call the cops. Still, though, think about this great pull in us to connect. Why not become the one who lives with a full moon in each eye that is always saying, with that sweet moon language, what every other eye in the world is dying to hear?
Anything from anyone?
I think
You go ahead, Bart.
just one of the most about being embodied. One of the most painful things is that we um, the sense of isolation and loneliness, and especially in light of COVID in the last year, the struggles we've all had with our social impulses as divine beings to reconnect. That's just pain. It's beautiful, and it's painful to read that too at the same time.
Yes.
It's just
And there's a direct line from the previous poem to this one. That
mhm.
great urge in us to connect.
Yeah.
So
The, be-
go ahead, Bart.
the beautiful, the beautiful, the beautiful creature living in the hole that you have dug, that each of us digs for ourselves, or circumstances place us in a hole of isolation. I guess that's what I sense from it.
And he says, still though, think about this great pull in us to
Mhm.
connect. And then he just asks us flat out, why not become the one who lives with a full moon in each eye that is always saying, with that sweet moon language, what every other eye in this world is dying to hear?
Be the one. Don't wait for someone else to coax you out. Reach out and be that connection that you want to have from other people.
Yes.
We're afraid of taking the first step toward that.
But even if they don't quite recognize what it is that they're seeing,
Mhm.
they will be so comforted.
Yeah.
That sweet moon language. Anyone else have a word to say about this? Will somebody tell me what it might mean to have the full moon in each eye? What do you think that means? What is it about the full moon that's such a powerful image?
It's the brightness, the twinkle, um,
The,
the joy. I mean, when you look at the moon, it is just so beautiful and soothing. So if someone has eyes like that, I mean, they'll be just divine.
Yes.
Um,
It's like it says in that hymn to the Divine Mother, that she is the moon and moonlight and happiness itself.
I, I have all this love and I want to be bestowing it on everyone I see.
Say that again from the beginning, June. I missed the first part.
I have all this love that I want to share.
Mhm.
So I want it to shine out.
Yes. Shine out. Yes. Well, from what we don't spend much time in one another's physical presence, June, but I know people who do spend time with you, and they say that it does shine out from you. And certainly it's what we see when we are here, when we are in your presence this evening. So, yes, yes, yes. Anyone else? The full moon in each eye that is always saying, with that sweet moon language, what every other eye in this world is dying to hear. I love you. I love
Brother Shankara.
you. Yes, dear.
The I'm having a sense the sweet moon language is on the, let's call it the right brain side, and it's the intuitive feminine, and it is subversive to our rational mind, our left mind. That's why someone would call the cops. If if you let that other side of yourself be expressed, just love me and let me love you. We're so under a sense of propriety, in our mannerisms, the way we have to behave. And Hafiz just cuts right through that to the subconscious and the feminine instinctual side.
Yes. Very well said. Which, if, but nobody can call the cops if you've got the full moon in each eye. Nobody can call the cops. I'm glad you brought that out about calling the cops. That is the pivot point of this poem.
They have the moon in their eyes too, depending on whether they know it or reflect it.
Who's it? Who does, Bart?
The cops.
Well, yeah.
And then the other part of the full moon is you hear people talking about, oh, I don't know, weird things happening during a full moon. I mean, I have a friend who she gets headaches, migraine headaches during a full moon. And it's like, I got to be careful. It's coming to be a full moon, she'll say. So there's that aspect of it, the full moon too.
Yeah, there is. And I'm sorry to hear about your friend.
Yeah. Just the energetic
Oh, yes.
aspect of it, and the alignment of, I don't understand it all, but I just know, I know it's happening and it's real and it's out there. So,
yes. Anything else from anyone?
I think of that image, the full moon in each eye, as sort of almost like if it were a human being that had that sort of eye look, is dilated pupils, which a person will have when they are in love and feeling that towards their beloved. And if it's the fact that it's the full moon, if the full moon is sending love out, and you've got two of them, one in each eye, it's like people look up at the moon or look at the moon because you can't help yourself.
Mhm.
And if the person has the full moon in each eye, they're looking out at the world that's looking at them, they're in love with everything that sees them and that they see.
So well said. Thank you. That, I think, is exactly what Hafiz means.
Mm.
On a lighter note, I wish I had known about this poem when I was still, in training. We all had this anxiety about being on call for the emergency room on full moon because we never knew what. Uh, Invariably, those call nights would be pretty hectic.
Yes, the full moon does have this disturbing, as Bart pointed out, the intuitive side of us, the irrational side of us, and so all kinds of things happen when that energy is prevalent. Thanks for mentioning that. Yeah. Haima, would you like to read Just Sit There Right Now?
Sure, Brother Shankara, I will. Let me get closer to the computer. Just sit there right now. Just sit there right now. Don't do a thing. Just rest. For your separation from God is the hardest work in this world. Let me bring you trays of food and something that you like to drink. You can use my soft words as a cushion for your head. Just sit there right now. Just sit there right now. Don't do a thing. Just rest. For your separation from God is the hardest work in this world. Let me bring you trays of food and something that you like to drink. You can use my soft words as a cushion for your head. Beautiful.
This is such a soothing poem.
I like that. For your separation from God is the hardest work in this world. It truly is. We are on that path to reach that God, on the journey here, all of us, our conscience, searching out for our conscience and taking the dust off the mirror. That's what we're doing. And I reflect on that particular stanza there, Brother Shankar.
That separation from God is living in that hole you have dug.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you.
June, how did this poem make you feel? June, did you hear me and you just have nothing that you want to say, or are you just thinking about it?
I'm thinking about it.
Okay, please. Take all the time you like.
Ephesus thoughts are so huge
Hmm.
that it takes me a long time sometimes to reduce them a little so that I can hold them in my hands.
Hmm.
And I would like to hear the poem again.
Okay, please read it again, Ima.
Sure. Just sit there right now. Just sit there right now. Don't do a thing. Just rest. For your separation from God is the hardest work in this world. Let me bring you trace of food and something that you like to drink. You can use my soft words as a cushion for your head.
I love that last line.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, we do need to do that, just to sit and reflect. That's, and he wants to help us by giving us that wonderful cushion.
Hmm. And, he just has this metaphor of the divine blessings. He speaks as the divine, always he's speaking as the divine. Love poems from God. Let me bring you trays of food and something that you like to drink.
Yes,
The blessings. Mhm. Blessings, blessings, blessings. And of course, not everyone gets to hear Hafiz. Not everyone gets to, as we know, there are many, many, many unfortunate people who we have the blessed privilege of being God to reach out to, being the divine presence to reach out to them. Whether we ever say anything at all about why. Your separation from God is the hardest work in this world. The reason I said I find this poem so soothing is it's just so clear that the divine being the divine being in the person of Hafiz understands so well what hard work it is. Anything else from anyone? Thank you, June. Thank you, everyone. Swam, do you have the book where you can read wondrous?
Yes, Brother Shankara. Wondrous. Oh, wondrous creatures, by what strange miracle do you so often not smile? Wondrous. Oh, wondrous creatures, by what strange miracle do you so often not smile? I think that is a poem that I should probably make it a point to read every morning.
Well,
It would be nice to remind ourselves when we get so caught up in stuff that we forget to smile.
well, as Saint Francis of Assisi said, God told him that a kind face is a precious gift. But it's this, by what strange miracle? By what strange miracle? That miracle of separation. It is a miracle. As every one of the great teachers said and says, the divine is right here, nearer than the nearmost. My teacher, Swami Prabhavananda, used to say that practically every time he would speak, he would say, nearer than the nearmost. And yet, somehow, by this strange miracle, we don't sense it. We don't know it. And this is why these great teachers always, and Hafiz also in his gentle way, says, do some spiritual practice. Find some way to make that left mind be quiet, that is so busy digging its holes. And make that left mind be quiet enough to where you can hear. That's why Hafiz's voice is such a blessing. All these saints in this book, they're such a blessing. Because they have managed to break through that separation and be the divine presence and speak to us in that way. Anyone else have anything to say about this wondrous poem?
I was just remembering how, like, most children, they love to be tickled.
Mm-hmm.
When we tickle them and they laugh, that is such a joyous sort of feeling. We need to tickle ourselves more often by reading poems like this.
Yes. Well, if you remember that, there's that wonderful poem by Saint Teresa of Avila, in which she talks about being in the streets and seeing these cowled monks with their scowling faces. And and she says, "What's up with them? Why are they so vinegar faced?" And God says, "Oh, I haven't tickled them yet." That's one of her short poems. So yes, we love to be tickled. Oh, this next poem. Liam, have you got the book open? Are you able to read this, My Sweet Crushed Angel?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. Please do. And for all of our sakes, please read this one 3 times.
Okay. My sweet, crushed angel, you have not danced so badly, my dear, trying to hold hands with the beautiful one. You have waltzed with great style, my dear, my sweet, crushed angel, to have neared God's heart at all. Our partner is notoriously difficult to follow, and even his best musicians are not always easy to hear. So what if the music has stopped for a while? So what if the price of admission to the divine is out of reach tonight? So what, my sweetheart, if you lack the ante to gamble for real love? The mind and the body are famous for holding the heart ransom. But Hafiz knows the beloved's eternal habits. Have patience, for he will not be able to resist your longings and charms for long. You have not danced so badly, my dear, trying to kiss the magnificent one. You have actually waltzed with tremendous style, my sweet, oh my sweet, crushed angel. My sweet, crushed angel. You have not danced so badly, my dear, trying to hold hands with the beautiful one. You have waltzed with great style, my sweet, crushed angel, to have ever neared God's heart at all. Our partner is notoriously difficult to follow, and even his best musicians are not always easy to hear. So what if the music has stopped for a while? So what if the price of admission to the divine is out of reach tonight? So what, my sweetheart, if you lack the ante to gamble for real love? The mind and the body are famous for holding the heart ransom, but Hafiz knows the beloved's eternal habits. Have patience, for he will not be able to resist your longings and charms for long. You have not danced so badly, my dear, trying to kiss the magnificent one. You have actually waltzed with tremendous style, my sweet, oh my sweet, crushed angel. My sweet, crushed angel. You have not danced so badly, my dear, trying to hold hands with the beautiful one. You have waltzed with great style, my sweet, crushed angel, to have ever neared God's heart at all. Our partner is notoriously difficult to follow, and even his best musicians are not always easy to hear. So what if the music has stopped for a while? So what if the price of admission to the divine is out of reach tonight? So what, my sweetheart, if you lack the ante to gamble for real love. The mind and body are famous for holding the heart ransom, but Hafiz knows the beloved's eternal habits. Have patience, for he will not be able to resist your longings and charms for long. You have not danced so badly, my dear, trying to kiss the magnificent one. You have absolutely waltzed with tremendous style, my sweet, oh my sweet, crushed angel.
Is there anything anyone would like to say?
It's such an encouraging poem. I think we need to hear that, because so often we do feel that we are failing in the path. We are not doing something right. We should be doing something better. And this poem is so comforting
Oh,
that
yes.
we just have to have patience and persist.
And celebrate yourself. You have waltzed with tremendous style. Yes, if ever there was an expression of Hafiz's unconditional and unmitigated, unadulterated love, this is it.
I read a quote from Beethoven this morning that may be sort of applicable to this poem.
Uh-huh.
To play a wrong note is insignificant. To play without passion is inexcusable.
Ah. Say that again, please.
To play a wrong note is insignificant. To play without passion is inexcusable.
Yes. Well, Beethoven certainly lived that remark. And notice what he says about mistakes. Insignificant. Yes. To learn to ride this skateboard of life, we're going to bloody our noses and skin our knees. We're going to play or sing a wrong note. Insignificant. And the reason being is embodied in this poem. It would be wonderful if somebody would set this to music. It is lovely what Hafiz says about the divine. Our partner is notoriously difficult to follow, and even his best musicians are not always easy to hear. And then the heart of the poem. So what if the music has stopped for a while? So what if the price of admission to the divine is out of reach tonight? So what, my sweetheart, if you lack the ante to gamble for real love? The mind and the body are famous for holding the heart ransom. Because what he's saying is that's where your money went. The mind and the body took all your resources, so you don't have the money to gamble. You don't have the ante to gamble for real love. It's almost contaminating to comment on this poem. That's how I feel about it. It's so beautiful. However, is there anything else that anyone would like to contribute? And thank you, Liam, for the very good reading.
Oh, my pleasure.
Well, I'll take a crack at contaminating it here.
Okay.
He
Yes.
talks he talks about, you have not danced so badly, my dear. And then he references, you have actually waltzed with tremendous style. And I don't know how to waltz, but I think a waltz is maybe metaphorically a more nuanced or sophisticated type of a dance. So I don't know if that's any reference there at all. Maybe when we're just dancing, it's not a good, we're not having a good day, we're not able to make the ante and all that. But if we're waltzing, we're getting a little closer perhaps.
Ah, very nicely said.
I don't know.
Yes, the waltz, of course, which didn't exist in Hafiz's day. This is Ladinsky bringing this forward into language that we understand and relate to. The waltz is a beautiful and relatively complicated dance. If it's done correctly, a whole ballroom full of people can waltz practically shoulder to shoulder and not get in one another's way. There are Hollywood films and other films that show this. Thank you, Heidi. That was right on the money. Anyone else?
I saw that Brother Shankara in his story that he was called the tongue of invisible. I see that his tongue of invisibleness in every poem. He's amazingly eloquent in each one of these poems.
Thank you.
Yes.
Each soul completes me. And this, of course, this could only be said by someone who really knows the beloved. Each soul completes me. My beloved said, "My name is not complete without yours." And I thought, how could a human's worth ever be such? And God, knowing all our thoughts, and all our thoughts are innocent steps on the path, then addressed my heart. God revealed a sublime truth to the world when he sang, "I am made whole by your life." Each soul completes me. Each soul completes me. My beloved said, "My name is not complete without yours." I thought, how could a human's worth ever be such? And God, knowing all our thoughts, and all our thoughts are innocent steps on the path, then addressed my heart. God revealed a sublime truth to the world when he sang, "I am made whole by your life." Each soul completes me. Hardly a day goes by when this poem doesn't come to mind, because it so gives me a way to be with other people as well as myself. My name is not complete without yours, God said. Each soul completes me. Anything else anyone would like to say?
I like this, Brother Shankara. All our thoughts are innocent steps on the path. And that's very, very true. So many times.
Isn't that so?
Extremely.
It's how reassuring that is.
Exactly. And even the scriptures you've been reading to us said that every thought, it matters, because thought, we have to have purified thoughts in order to get to the divine, our conscience. That's it. That's a highway, pretty much, to the conscience.
And yet,
Yes. We
it
have to have,
doesn't matter, he's saying. All our thoughts,
yes. All of our thoughts are
the
innocent.
good, the bad, the indifferent, the ugly,
Mhm.
they're all innocent steps.
Steps on the path. It's very truly.
Innocent steps. Which again is a way to think about human beings that is utterly non-judgmental.
Mhm. Thank you, Brother Shankar.
Anyone else have anything to say? This is a joyous poem. I am made whole by your life. Each soul completes me. This is the positive statement of that end of that poem by Thomas Aquinas, in which he says, God told me, you cannot be what I am not. Notice that that's the last of Hafiz's poems in this section. So he says, if we believe, if we're in the frame of mind to take Hafiz seriously, as far as Ladinsky's concerned, this is his last word. My beloved said, my name is not complete without yours. I thought, how could a human's worth ever be such? And God, knowing all our thoughts, and all our thoughts are innocent steps on the path, then addressed my heart, not my mind, addressed my heart. God revealed a sublime truth to the world when he sang, I am made whole by your life. I am made whole by your life. Each soul completes me. It makes me want to get up and dance. It literally does. It's not as easy as it used to be, but makes me want to get up and waltz.
And what is it called? On that jeweled dance floor?
Yes,
Right?
thank you, Heidi, for remembering. Yes, yes, exactly, on that jeweled dance floor. We're all there on that jeweled dance floor. We've all been invited to the party. Thanks for remembering that, Heidi. That's perfect. Anything else from anyone? All right, next week we'll take up St. Catherine of Siena. Well, I think we can all agree that we are glad we read Hafiz. And because I start practically every day with reading some of this book over and over, my heart is just full of gratitude to Ladinsky for doing what he did. What a labor of love. Any final words from anyone?
Brother Shankara,
Yes, dear.
I think the high school prom season is on, and I feel like we have our prom on Monday evenings on Zoom.
All right. We waltz with magnificent style.
I second that. Yes, very
Thank
nice.
you, Heidi. Yes, thank you.
Agree with her, both of you.
Well, on our jeweled dance floor. Oh, dearly beloved, a flower at your feet for each one who comes to your open door. A flower at your feet for each one who stands by your open door and says, come to me, offering to break this world's chain that binds us down to ignorance, suffering, and death. A flower at your feet for each one who takes the path that you have struck through this, your jungle world. Om, Amen. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace. Peace be unto us and to all beings everywhere. So may you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be cheerful. May you have peace of mind. And may you go forward in the loving and protective embrace of God. So until we see some of you next time tomorrow evening for our class on Holy Mother. Then of course on Wednesday there's the class on the wisdom tradition called Jnana Yoga. And then on Saturday, Realizing God, a collection of Swami Prabhavananda's talks. And this coming Sunday, a rather entertaining peep into the connection between modern astrophysics and the Vedanta tradition, or the tradition of wisdom, spiritual wisdom. And the talk is called The Equations of Maya. The Equations of Maya. And it's by the title and the substance of the talk is by a truly remarkable man named John Dobson. Anyway, that's my little commercial for what's coming up on Zoom from here. So until next Monday night, for those of you who we see on Monday nights, so much love, so much sense of companionship here.
Thank you so much, Brother Shankara. I feel that love and companionship. I feel it and send it back to all of you.
Good, Heidi. Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night, all.
Good night.
Night.
I
Good night, everyone.